Okay, great. So thank you so much. I just want to take this a minute just to thank you so much for jumping on this Zoom presentation. We are really, really excited to have our mentor and leader, Rick Gutman, leading this presentation tonight. So I am going to find him here. Here we go. Okay, so again, very, very excited for, all the Canadians on this call, or all the Americans as well. We have such a great opportunity with what we have with Paseo. And again, I just want to introduce our presenter tonight, who is our mentor and leader and the founder of Overcome Nation, and you'll hear more about that this evening, Rick Gutman. So Rick, if you're there, I'm going to unmute you. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me now?
I can. Thank you so much.
Yes, no problem. I'm really happy to be here with you guys. I was asked to do this Zoom. It'll be the first one that I've done with Jody's team and Tyler, and of course Tanya, our fearless leader, Tanya. She's amazing. You've probably seen her do other Zooms before, but get down, Beth, get down. Sorry, my puppy was jumping all over me. Okay, so what I know we have people on here that have maybe never been in the network marketing industry before. Some are new, some are very seasoned. And so I'm going to just give you a little bit of my background first, and then we'll step into presenting the company, presenting the business school, which makes it all work. Many times people feel a little bit overwhelmed when they step into a business and they don't know what to do. That was why I started the business school. It's produced leader after leader after leader. And those that started with me 2 years ago that never made more than $2,000 a month are now making $8,000 to $12,000 a week. So I'm excited that here we are 2 years later, and to be able to have that credibility. When we first started, all we had was the name of Dallin Larson and the fact that he had built 2 other companies to $1 billion in sales, and that if you could do it twice, you could do it again, and that he had a commitment to introduce disruptive products into the marketplace. I came out of retirement to align myself with him, and I built a free business school right on top of that strong foundation, and it's made a world of difference. And at least 7,000 lives that are in my organization now, just 2 years later. And teaching other people to do the same is something I'm very passionate about. I didn't start out loving network marketing. I have a love-hate relationship with this industry, and you'll hear a little bit about that, probably like many of you. And so my background was in the diamond and gemstone industry and in the real estate industry as an investor. I wasn't an agent or anything like that. I used to buy land, subdivide it, sell it off in tentative track map to developers. And that was my wheelhouse. And I got a chance to spend some time with the author of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, Robert Kiyosaki. And that made a world of difference in my understanding, because I learned about cash flow. I learned about financial education. And every day in America, or around the world, cash flows to those that have the greatest amount of understanding of financial education. It flows to them, and it flows away from those that have the least amount of financial education. And that was one of the key things that I wanted to understand, because I wanted to have wealth, but I didn't want wealth to have me, right? In other words, I wanted to have money, but I didn't want money to have me. I was raised in a very conservative family. And I knew that freedom in my time could be something that could really help me to do the things that I want to do, which was really pour into other people. And I had no idea that pouring into other people would be teaching them about financial education for free, because that education cost me $500,000. But I found a vehicle and a place, a platform to be able to do that, to where it was worth it to all parties. And so I spent 5 years with the author of the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, Robert Kiyosaki, and his partner, Sharon Lechter. She was his partner in the Rich Dad, the entire Rich Dad franchise. I'm probably going to have her come and speak at one of our events, probably the one in Dallas that will be coming up in October. And she's amazing. So I learned so much from them. And in that class, after about 5 years, I met some people that were making $100,000 a month in passive income. Now, I heard about people making that kind of money before, but didn't pay too much attention to it. We were, the real estate boom here in the United States ran from about 1998 when I first got into it and was over by 2010, but it was really starting to lift by 2007. And that's when I started to look at other ways of earning cash flow. I had rental properties, but acquiring rental properties and adding them to your real estate portfolio can be very costly. The average person doesn't have the skill set or the money to do that, right? So, so seeing somebody making $100,000 a month in passive income, to me, I looked at it through the eyes of owning an apartment complex, and I had been doing that whole year, all of 2006. I had been looking at apartment complexes, and I had the software to tell me that whether it would cash flow or not, what I would have to put down, all of that, all the debt service completely itemized, and I had it down to a science. And so meeting somebody that was making $100,000 a month in passive income in network marketing, to me was like a 700 to 1,000 unit apartment complex, and that would take several $1,000,000 down. Finding a bank to finance you would be very difficult. It would take a tremendous amount of skill set and time to learn that. And here these people were doing that type of passive income on a $1,600 investment, and they were doing it around the world in multiple countries, and they were doing it with no trucks. They were doing it with very little inventory. They were doing it with no employees. They had no workman's comp issues or liability issues. I mean, no warehouses, no payroll, and debt free. And passive income, I had quickly learned from Kiyosaki, was it's the highest quality of income in the world amongst the rich, and it's taxed at the lowest percentage because you can bring your expenses and against it, right? So you get to keep much more of what you make. So around the world, those that understand financial education, they understand cash flow. So when I stepped into the industry, immediately I went after people like myself that had small business owners. They had a pain point like me. They had money and no time. Their businesses owned them. And so I stepped into it, and because I went after small business owners, they knew business. People that knew business had larger networks. People that had new businesses or had businesses had spheres of influence. People wanted to be like them, and they had a pain point, and they had strong work ethic. And so I started there. I didn't go after people that were naive. I didn't go after people I could pick on. I didn't go after people and going, hey, will you try my product? I've supported you, so support me. I didn't use any of that hype or emotionalism or any of that stuff. I went after people that had a love language of business, and those were all people that knew or had franchises, or they had rental properties, or they had other businesses, right? So they came in and they brought their networks. And so 15 months later, I had an $18 million a year distribution business in multiple countries. And I found that I had a knack for teaching people how to build wealth in the industry because my heart was in it. And the reason why my heart was in it is that I had never come across anything that that could create wealth like this without the risk, without the bank notes, without the personal guarantees, and all of that. And I could see it work in the hands of people that just wanted more out of their life. They just didn't have a lot of money, but they had a work ethic. They had a desire for a better life. They had a network of people that, whether they had a large network of people or they were starting to build a network with people, both parties could do it. I saw single moms become 6 and 7 figure earners a year. I saw people that knew business do the same. I saw anyone who was willing to really, really want to learn a new skill. And if you can learn a new skill set, you can do very, very well in network marketing. And so I've been in it for 15 years. I've always been one of the highest earners in the world. But I suffered a lot of burnout as well because I couldn't do this back then. I couldn't speak and teach almost face to face through video. I had to do it the old fashioned way. I had to meet people and travel and do all of that. 12 days out of the month after 11 years, you get burned out. Now I made millions and that was the hook. That's what kept me in it. And I loved people, so that kept me in it. But I got to be honest with you, I was burned out because I was all over the place. And so then I thought I'll own a network marketing company. So I did that and I didn't like it. I was 25% owner in one, and all of a sudden I was stuck in corporate. I wasn't out in the field. I didn't have much free time. I resigned in 1 year, and then I just retired from the industry completely. And never thought that I'd step back into it. I felt that I had earned enough. I'd earned enough of the following and enough of the wisdom in this industry to start writing. And after about 2 years, Dallin Larson and his wife put out a video that they were coming out of retirement to build another company. And I came out of retirement to do the same because I knew, sorry, my dog is all over the place, because I knew that they were going to do it again. And technology had changed. I was able to do this. And I thought, all right, I'm gonna step into this, and I'm gonna put my heart into it, and I'm gonna teach people everything that I know. And I sent a few texts out to some people that I think we should do it. And the next day I had 182 people on a conference call. I did not expect that many. I only sent it out to 12 people actually. And then I had $28 million in leadership join me right out of the gate in 2007 when we were launching. 2017, sorry, 2017. This company is only 2 years old. And 28 million in leadership. There was a handful of 6 and 7 figure earners, and within 3 to 6 months of the time we launched, they quit. And because of entitlement and wanting position, and a lot of times big networkers are difficult to deal with because of egos. So they quit, and I had probably around 1,000 or 1,500 people that were in my organization. None of them had ever made more than 2,000 a month in a network marketing company. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to go after big leaders. What I'm going to do is I'm going to teach every single person from within. I'm going to teach every one of them how to become 6 and 7 figure earners. In other words, I'm not going to go out and find 6 and 7 figure earners to come be a part of my network. I'm going to create them. And I thought, how would I do it? And I created a private page, a group page. And I started teaching 3 nights a week for an hour. And I started layering all of that education that I learned from Kiyosaki, all of the education that I learned from owning businesses from the time I was 17 years old, all of the education and the trade secrets that I've learned at that time, 11, 12 years of network marketing. And now, again, those that never made more than 2,000 a month in a network marketing company are doing 8 to 12,000 a week. So my business school is working, and we have 10 amazing products in Viseo, from healthy energy, to healthy sleep, to healthy weight loss, to one of my favorite products is Neuro. It's a total meal for the brain. We have anti-aging products that are loaded with collagen and glutathione, and that is a phenomenal product. We have antioxidant products that will help you for aches and pains. And now we have CBD here in the United States, soon to come to Canada. And we're so excited about it. I will say that the company right out of the gate did 12 million in its first month. No network marketing company had ever done that in its first 30 days before. And this is an industry that is 140 years old. This is an industry that brings in $275 billion a year with a B. And it's an industry that pays out over 7 billion a month in commissions. And so for a company to be able to do 12 million in its first 30 days is staggering. And we ended up doing 49 million for that first year. And then the second year, I thought, I don't think we'll probably do more than 20 million in the second year, because a lot of people come to new companies with a lot of emotionalism and hype, and they get in because they all think they're going to be rich because their friends told them they were going to be rich and they didn't have to do anything. They just have to sit there and collect money. And so you tend, in the second year, you tend to lose people. And we did lose people because a lot of people built on emotionalism, but we still did 51 million in the second year. Now, I told my team, and Tanya was there, I said, look, when we first started, I said, look, I'm going to teach you guys real financial education. I'm going to teach you what nobody teaches in this entire industry. Now, we will not be the first ones to hit the highest rank, but by the end of 12 and 13 months, we are going to completely leave the herd behind. And sure enough, as soon as the 12th month and the 13th month rolled around, we were producing more leaders than any other leader, any other organization in North America. And that's because financial education is the mentor. It's not a personality. It's not me. It's not any other leaders. Financial education is the mentor. It teaches you the framework of this industry. I'm going to say this. In 140 years, $275 billion a year, people still looking at these things like they're pyramids, or what's wrong with this person? Why can't they get a real job? And the reason why they believe that is because there's not enough people out there that are communicating the real framework of this industry. And the real framework is very professional, it's very credible, and it's extremely lucrative. This is an industry where you can make $1 million a year, or you can make $1 million a month. Even one person did $1 million a week. Okay, that takes time to get to do $1 million a week, of course. But here's my point. There's nobody out there that's giving the right education. They're using so much emotionalism and hype and get in now and fear of missing out. And oh my gosh, I have 1,000 people underneath me and it's only been 15 minutes. That kind of stuff is not a skill set. That's the kind of stuff that kept me away from this amazing industry for so long, because nobody would talk about the real mechanics of why this industry is so lucrative. And so in my business school, I only stick to that, and I teach that. No one on my team uses hype or emotionalism. We build on real business, and here's why that's important. You need to understand how to communicate the industry the way it deserves. You need to be able to communicate the brand the way it deserves. Brand communication in Fortune 500 businesses is the key. If you cannot communicate the brand, your company is dead in the water. In our case, if you can't communicate the industry, in our industry, then people will not listen to you because they don't understand what it is. They have to rely on your ability to communicate why this industry is greater than any other industry out there when it comes to wealth creation. If you were to build, and when you go and you teach me the business and you go teach one other person the business, now you have 2. You teach them to do the same, now you have 6, right? I never had 2 real estate properties become 6 properties, right? Those 6 do the same, now you have 24. Those 24 do the same, you have 96. I never had 2 properties that became 96 cash flowing assets, right? You could look at them in the way of income producing property. If you were to purchase something like that, you know it would take millions. What if you compared it to an invisible franchise, right? Every time you were to buy one, I don't know what the franchises are in different franchises in Canada, but I always use the example of Subway. If you were to buy a sandwich franchise, Subway would cost you $250,000 to fit it out and make it look like all the rest. The goal is to sell $300,000 in sandwiches in that year, only to make $50,000 to $70,000 a year after you've paid all the debt service, right? So the only way for you to double your income is to buy another location, another $250,000. Now you're in at $500,000 to make what, 100 to 150,000. So if you want to make 300,000, then you're in this thing a million. Okay, to have 4 different locations, we don't have to do any of that in Viseo. We don't have to do any of that in this industry. As that continues to grow exponentially, and before you know it, you have 500 people in your organization. 500 people. Let's just say that 500 people only work 1 hour a day. I'm only working 1 hour a day, but I have 500 people that are working 1 hour a day. So I'm logging 500 hours a day. How long would that take you to do that on your own? That's called leverage. The wealthiest people in the world leverage. They leverage money, they leverage systems, and they leverage time. Okay, we get to do all of that. And so if when I would have conversations with Kiyosaki, Robert Kiyosaki, or he'd be on that stage and he would talk about people, that would come to him for an investment. They go, I have a restaurant idea, or I have a business idea, and it's one location. He'd say, look, I appreciate it. Probably be a great business for you, but I'm not excited about it unless your plan is to build like 200 locations across the country. Well, that's what we have in Viseo. Okay, right now, Tanya or Tyler or some of the others will tell you, if they told you how many people are in their organization, cash flowing assets, you would be blown away. It's staggering, an invisible franchise. Right now, I think I have about 7,500 people in my organization, right? That's like having 7,500 different locations in multiple countries in 2 years. A debt-free business, right? My business is producing $18 million a year and it's debt-free. Talk to somebody who has a business. Talk to somebody who may have an 18 or $20 million business. Ask them if it's debt-free. It's impossible, okay? But it's not impossible in this industry. And so you can tell by the way that I share this, it won't be long until you are communicating it in the same way. You let action be your coach. You step into the business school. I teach 3 nights a week for an hour. Now my leaders are picking up Wednesday nights. So now I'm actually, I have to correct myself, 2 nights a week, because my leaders are, because we're developing true leaders that are rotating on Wednesday nights to do that and to teach. But there's over 300 videos, 300 different topics that are in there that I have trained for an hour. And very rarely did I ever talk about the same topic twice. So the education alone, I want you to listen to me now. The education alone is worth millions. The business school alone is worth millions, even if we didn't have Viseo, because it's going to give you the keys to wealth. I choose to do it for free for my team. I don't teach anyone else in this company. I've been asked 4 times now, including last week, if I would teach the entire company and get all the royalties involved, and I've said no. And the reason why I say no is I do not want to teach any other team and give my team any competition. I don't want to develop other people and other teams that are working against my team. I don't want to produce more competition for the people in my organization. Now, I have to bet on myself to give you the best information, all the trade secrets in this industry, all the financial education for you to win. And the reason why I do that is I want to give people the tools. When you make money, I make money. I could be an inspirational speaker. Tanya's seen me on the platform many times, right? I can rip the cover off the ball when it comes to inspiration if I want. But I put a lower value on inspirational, type of business than many other people do, because when somebody comes in and is an inspirational speaker, they can fire you up for a day, but you don't know what to do. They're not giving you the tools, and they get paid at the door. I don't want to get paid at the door. I want to give my team the tools so they can continue to create wealth for their families. And when they make money, I make money. And so that's where my passion is at. I don't have to do this. I do it because I absolutely love it. I am purpose driven. And that's why Jody decided to come on board and step into Overcome Nation in this business school and Viseo, because she saw like the leadership, our leadership is unmatched. You will not find leaders in any other company that are like ours, because they don't have the schooling or the culture, right? We help each other in this business. Nowhere in our organization will you say, hey, well, don't talk to this person in this line and don't talk to, that's because they're cross line and this and that. We're a family. We push each other to the top. Also, in closing, my team knows how to give, and that's why we're prosperous. What I love about one of the variables that makes Viseo great is that their idea is, if it's just about the money, it's not enough. And Dallin and Carrie have been known for creating charitable organizations in other countries. And we have one in Tanzania where we are digging and producing water wells for the people there and the children there that are dying from dirty water. 2,000 to 5,000 people a day die from water that is filthy and has bacteria in it. And we're building water wells. And I'm very proud to say that my team alone, Overcome Nation alone, has already paid for 6 wells. I put a post in our business school last night with all the children around the wells, and it's with a plaque that says Overcome Nation, well number 21, well number 22. And that is one of the keys to wealth that I have found in my life, not just in my career, but in my life, is that when you bless other people, you will be blessed. And so that's why I think, corporate, they can't figure out how come our team continues to just produce leader after leader after leader. We're people that, they didn't come from wealth. They didn't come from education. They didn't come from this industry. Most of them were intimidated to start a business, but the business school taught them from scratch what to do, how to do it, letting action be your coach, overcoming your fears. And in doing that, you grow mental strength and emotional strength, physical strength, even spiritual strength. And the financial strength becomes very, very aggressive, because you start feeling yourself learning and growing, and you're overcoming things in your life, and you're being around so many optimistic people that are pushing you to the top, that what happens is your value to the marketplace gets stronger and stronger. Your earning power gets stronger and stronger, and so does your bank account. And so your confidence, as you learn this financial education and you know how to apply it into Viseo, your confidence gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And where things that used to scare you before, about maybe teaching a Zoom or getting on Facebook and doing a quick interview or standing up in front of a small group of people and telling them why you did it and why it's working, that used to petrify you, and now you own it. That's because we have a wonderful teaching system. So if you've never heard of this before and it sounds a little bit overwhelming to you, I want to ask you something. Do you think you can learn a new skill? Just say network marketing aside. Let's put network marketing aside. If I said I could teach you a skill that you can earn $1 million a year or $1 million a month, but these are the things that you have to do, and I have a total school that's going to teach you how to do it. In fact, I'm going to do it with you. Would that be a skill worth learning? To me, I'd be like, that's a hell yes, absolutely. Put me in, okay? Because there are skills that can bring in 100,000 a year. There are skills that can bring in 80,000 a year, and there are skills that can bring $10 million a year. And it doesn't take any more brain power. It just takes you going, okay, this is where I'm going to point my efforts, because I want to work for wealth. I don't want to work for money. I don't want to trade hours for dollars. I determined that in my heart a long time ago, and that's where you'll come to that place. Do I want to continue to trade hours for dollars, or do I want to work for wealth? When you work for wealth, you're working for time. You gain both time and money. People have asked me before, because I spend so much time teaching in financial education, as they begin to hear me and see the way I teach and the way I work with people, they quickly see that just because I'm talking about financial education, I'm not a greedy person. But I'm going to tell you where I am very, very greedy. I'm greedy for time. I'm greedy for my own time, because for years I didn't have any time as a small business owner. My business owned me. I couldn't take a vacation for a month like wealthy people, right? I didn't want to run around like a big shot, and I didn't want money to own me. But I surely wanted to own wealth. I surely wanted to own money, because I knew that it would give me time. And so systems are what create time. That's why Warren Buffett says, if Unless you learn how to make money while you sleep, you're going to work until you die. Most people are going to work until they die and lead unfulfilled lives. All we're doing here is leveraging a system that we teach through the Overcome Nation, and we're leveraging a fulfillment center called Viseo. What do? They do everything that we don't want to do as a small business owner. They're formulating the products for us. They're packaging the products for us. They're shipping them for us. They're paying their employees. They're handling all the customer service. They're paying us. They're assuming all the liability. They're opening up countries. They're doing everything that I used to have to do as a small business owner. All the headaches that I used to have are now being done by them. Now, all you have to do is do what Fortune 500 companies do. All you have to do is find good people, teach them the way of building a large distribution business, which ends up being debt-free. And as they step into their leadership roles, layers and layers of freedom in your time begin to find you, right? And that's why we're here. So if this is something that you're interested in, or if it resonates with you, I know that network marketing isn't for everyone, right? So I'm not here to grab your credit card so you can relax. But if this is something that what I've said makes sense to you, I want you to understand, in the way I'm sharing this, I educated you. I'm going to educate you into the business. I'm not going to sell you into this business. There are too many people selling people into this industry that are not ready to build a business. But if you want to learn a skill and you want that type of freedom, there's a business school. I have the only business school in this entire industry that will teach you. I'm very proud of that. And 3 to 5 years from now, everyone's going to hear about Overcome Nation, because we're giving this business what it deserves. It already has credibility, but nobody knows it. It already has professionalism, but nobody knows it. And it's extremely lucrative. People know it, but because there's so many people that are doing it a wrong way, it turns people off. We're here to raise the standard in this industry. So if you want to be a part of it, I'd love to have you on the team. If there's anything else, Tanya, that you want me to share with them, I'm happy to do it.
Thank you so much, Rick. I would love, just for our Canadians, because it is such a special opportunity, for you to maybe talk about what a founder's position would mean in a business like this and a company like this.
Sure. So in the United States, when they first launched, they gave us founders. We had the ability to purchase founders packs, and they were like $1,500 or $2,000. And I had never seen that be offered before in a network marketing business, because what was offered is, when you hit the 5th rank, you would receive a 2% global profit, total company profit for the life of the company. And so, and then once you hit gold, that's the 5th rank, then you'd get a 3% global leadership pool as well. So you get a total of 5% profit sharing in the company. And so they're not available to us anymore in the United States, but because we're in pre-launch in Canada, you're able to purchase founders packs. I will tell you that in this industry, it's been going on 15 years now. I have always purchased a pack. Whatever the biggest pack was, I was purchasing, because I wanted to have enough product to share with everybody and to consume, because I wanted to build a business fast, right? And so you guys being in Canada, I would be leading with that. If you were a Canadian, I would be purchasing that. I would bet on yourself, because that's what you do. And I will tell you that I've always wanted to have a Canadian team in my career, and right now I have the largest Canadian team in this company, and I'm so thankful for you guys, because you guys don't quit, right? You take a long time to get in, man, but I'll tell you what, when you come in, you are not quit. You guys fight, and I had named my company Overcome Nation because I've had to fight for everything I've ever had, and you guys are fighters. And I take care of the Canadian team the best of my ability, because I'm so honored to be working with you. But if I were you and you were thinking about doing this, come in on a founders pack. Don't shortchange yourself. Don't bet against yourself. Trust the business school is going to teach you. Let action be your coach, and you don't have to worry about hitting gold. You'll be going much higher than that. I know that last year, because of because I came in on the founders pack, it paid me an extra $30,000 just because I purchased the pack and went to gold and higher. So again, if that's something that that you're interested in, then could definitely come in the founders pack. If you know people in the United States as well, and I know CBD will be coming to Canada as well, but CBD is all the rage right now, you guys. It is a boom product. That's why when you pick up any entrepreneur magazine or a business magazine, you're going to see so many articles about it. Forbes expects it to go to 591 million by the end of this year, and they expect it to go to 22 billion by the year 2022. That's just 3 years from now, growing by 700%. They've wanted to legalize CBD for decades, and it's finally here. Even if I wasn't in network marketing, I would, and I didn't know the power of network marketing, because I love business, I would be starting a CBD business right now, hands down, right? Just because the trend is your friend, and CBD is truly a trend. It's truly a boom product. And if you look at the Fortune 500 companies are out there, they will take you back to a time when they executed a moment when everyone was like, oh, do you want to do that? Are you sure you want to do that? I'm not really into it. What if it doesn't work? They will take you back to a time where they could see what others didn't see. And that's what entrepreneurs do, right? Entrepreneurs operate in a world that nobody else sees. And so I vowed growing up that I wasn't going to be like my parents, missing so many different types of opportunities, because all my aunts and uncles seemed to always miss the boat. And I found that education teaches me to see. Financial education teaches me to see. Well, financial education is taught a lot of those Fortune 500 companies and those that are on the Forbes list how to see. And I'm telling you guys right now, you can see this for yourself, do the research yourself. CBD is going to change the lives of a lot of families in the way of health and prosperity. So right now, yeah, you can't have it in Canada. Soon you will be, but Facebook has put us all in one place. How many people in the United States do you know right now that you could have a conversation with, a professional conversation with, or have Tanya on the line, or Jody on the line, or me, or Tyler on the line, or some of the other leaders, to have a three-way call with them? They can purchase it, and you're earning a commission in a country that you don't even live in. That's what's so wonderful about this business, is you can pierce through the economy of your city, your state, even your country, so you're not bound by the economy of where you live, right? That's the power of this industry. This is why it keeps me up at night, because you can't help but dream once you understand what the framework of this business really is and how it can help you. You're literally building a network across the country. It crosses international borders, and you build friendships and relationships, and end up having a global distribution business over time. So I'm here to help you guys have success in that, but I want you to understand something. Don't get involved if this is something that you're just emotionally like, oh, I'm going to be rich. No, you're going to put in the work. You're going to get educated. You're going to treat it like a business. I'm going to teach you how to treat it like a real business, so you can reap the rewards of a real business. Does that help, Tanya?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just, you know, if in closing, if you're ready to close up, I just want to thank you so much, and just, you know, kind of confirm what you've been saying on my own experience. You know, I've learned more from being a part of your team and being a part of Overcome Nation, and plugging into your education and financial literacy, that it's really changed the course of my career and my life and my family's, and that's happened to so many people that have joined. I've learned more in the last 2 years than I have in the last 20. And specifically in the last 10 in this industry. But, you know, I just want to share, it goes beyond the financial piece and the business education. You know, you really do touch on helping people understand what true wealth is in every area of their life. And that is really priceless. And I just want to thank you for creating Overcome Nation and doing what you do. And I just want to encourage everyone that's on here, please, you know, talk to the person that invited you to this Zoom presentation tonight, and, you know, just take a look. I think I'm positive you're going to like what you hear. And again, Rick, thank you so much for coming on tonight and sharing your story and expressing your love for this industry and how you really are. You're changing it. You're changing this industry, and all the people that are on the team are so grateful to be a part of that. Moving forward, we're in a really great place. So thank you so much for coming on tonight.
No problem. I love you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.